Hello and welcome to my channel. In this channel, we explore statistics in architectural research. I am Dr. Louis Diaz. In this video, we'll be diving into lesson 16. We'll be covering the common experimental designs in architectural research. The objective of this video is to help you understand the common experimental designs that we use when we conduct the experiment in agriculture. Let's get started. There are many ways we can define the experimental designs, but in agricultural research, we can define the experimental design as a structured approach to plan and to conduct the agricultural experiment. We are saying that experimental design is nothing but structured approach. It's a structured approach to planning and conducting the scientific experiment. In agriculture, when we conduct our scientific experiment, we have to use the experimental designs. So we are saying that experimental design is nothing but a structured approach to planning and conducting the scientific experiments. So when we are doing the experimental design, it helps us to deal on how the treatments are assigned to plots. It helps us to design how the treatment assigned to the plots or to your pens. If you are doing the animal experiment, how those treatments you are going to assign them to your pens. That is experimental designs. So there are many experimental designs that we have in agriculture, but for this video, we are going to focus on the common experimental designs. The first one that is we call it as a complete randomized design. The completely randomized design is nothing but is the experimental design whereby we have the EUs, experimental units that are similar. We call them as homogeneous. When the experimental units are similar, remember one of our videos we explained what is experimental units. That's where we apply our treatments. If your experimental units are similar, you are going to apply the completely randomized design. For example, if your plots where you are going to plant, your plots are similar, you are gonna select this CRD design. We also have another one called randomized complete block design. When we talk about the randomized complete block design, this one is whereby the experimental units are not similar, are not homogeneous, whereby the experimental units are heterogeneous. When the experimental units are not the same, are heterogeneous, but the differences that you observe on those experimental units is only one factor. They are different only with one factor. When they are different with only one factor, you apply the blocking. We call that as a randomized complete block design. Then we also have another experimental design. We call it the Latin square design. Latin square design. The Latin square design is almost similar with the randomized complete block design. In this one, we are saying that the experimental units are not the same. Those experimental units are heterogeneous. But what we notice now in this one is there are two factors. that we notice that those experimental units are differ. They are differ into two factors. Now we are going to have what is called two blocking. We are going to have two blocking. When we have those two blocking, instead of saying it's double block, we say it's Latin square design. That is the same as randomized complete block design. But the difference in this one is once you notice that in your experimental units, they are different into two factors. Then we also have the experimental design called the split plot design. The split plot design is whereby in this one you split your plots. You can see even the name, the split plot design. You split your plots whereby you are going to have two factors. One factor, we use it as a main plot. We have a main plot. Then the second factor, we treat it as a subplot. You are planting, then you notice that we have those two factors whereby the whole field, we are going to have the main plot. Then inside the main plot, we are going to have the subplots. We call that as a split plot design. It's commonly used by the researchers who are doing the plant experiments. Then number 5, we have the factorial design. The factorial design is one of the designs that we use if we want to combine two or more factors at the same time. We want to know the function of two or more factors at the same time. So we are saying here is two or more. Two or more factors of our interest at once. We want to understand the factors of two or more at once. For example, maybe you want to know the effect of irrigation, effect of fertilizer at the same time, and also you want to know their combination, how they perform when they are combined. So we call that as a factorial design. Please note that in the coming videos we are going to define each and every experimental design, and also we are going to give more details, some examples on different agricultural experiments, so that we can understand each and every experimental design. To recap, we have covered the common experimental designs used in agricultural experiments. Experimental design involve the manipulation of independent variables to answer your objectives.
Do you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a question, and maybe you want a clarity on a certain topic? Leave a comment below. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and share this video.
See you in the next one.